It's crazy when people know you from social media, and how social media actually it takes away the humanity from a human being, because most of the people you know from the internet are mostly antisocial. I'm saying that because I'm one of those people who are antisocial, but they are factors that actually create an antisocial being or antisocial behavior that I've succumbed to over the years, and I've realized that actually I don't want to be around people that much. I love people so much, but I don't want to be around people so much. It's better if I speak to the camera as I'm speaking here, and then everybody else get to hear from me from their screens, either television or from their cell phone, maybe their computers, depending on which device you are streaming from. Sorry about that. There are taxis passing by outside. I just moved into the space, so I'm here to redecorate it to my liking. But it's a new house that I've just got. I'm hoping to fix it in the near future. Right now, I'm kind of short in funds, but I will get to fix it. Speaking of being antisocial, some of the factors to me is the fact that I read specific types of books, and I listen to specific types of podcasts, and I listen to certain individuals, maybe most of the people I know who are not privy to, or whom they probably find boring. For instance, I read the Bible. Primarily, I read the Bible. And number one way to go antisocial is the Bible, because not everybody read the Bible intently in such a way that you get to actually know the details of each and every book that is written in the Bible. Number two, it's going to be hard actually, on the point of the Bible, it's going to be hard to find people who are actually scrutiny to the scriptures of the Bible, who will do a text criticism on the text itself. So it's very, very rare to find people who think like that or who approach the Bible like that. So that makes it kind of weird to be around the spaces where there are people who are believers, because some of them do not go into that length in terms of studying and reading the Bible. But not only that, I also like fictions. I read a lot of fictions, not only fictions, legends. I read a lot of those too. For instance, I've read The Ultimate Husband. I think that book has about 8,000 chapters. Now, who in the world read a book that's long? About 8,000 chapters. That is The Ultimate Husband. Now, if you read a book that long and you are so immense to the character, Daryl Darby, and there's no way that you will relate the same way with the people that you actually come across on your daily basis, because not all of them reads The Ultimate Husband. Not all of them know the character of Daryl Darby. Not all of them understands the things that he go about on his daily lives, developing as a person, as the story developing to the climax and towards the end. Not everybody has been exposed to that, so they do not know Daryl Darby. You alone know Daryl Darby. So now, who do you talk to about this amazing character, Daryl Darby? Anyways, so now if I'm going to sit with people and cannot discuss the Bible in a critical manner, talk about sports in a critical manner, looking at every details of a game, and actually speak about those moments, how they affect and decide the certain moments of the games. Now, if you do not have people who can go to such lengths, it's kind of weird to be around people, because they don't receive you the way you might want to be received, because you're kind of weird. Anyways, I also read, no, I didn't read this one, My Vampire System. Vampire System. Actually, when I first became a Christian, one of the things that were a no-go area were demonic studies. Let me put it that way. You can't be involved with things pertaining demons. So me listening to My Vampire System, the character Quintailin, there are times where I had to agree with his vampiric antics to actually get away with certain things. So that means somehow in me, there's a specific part that agrees with vampires. Now, as a Christian, you cannot bring a topic about vampires with your fellow Christians because they are not privy to such information, and some of them regard that as a forbidden information, if I may put it that way. So that also subjects you to be an antisocial person, that I am today. Agreeing with the vampire to actually convert humans into vampires for a greater good cause. Now, if I listen to this book and see what's going on, put everything together, then you find yourself agreeing with such behaviors, with the blood sucking, with the donation of blood for the greater cause, because Quintilian actually is a brilliant person who is building this empire, but also uniting both worlds, humans and vampires, with him being born as a human being, but later on he was transformed into a vampire and became the king of the vampires. Not only the king of vampires, he became the lord of blood because he could control blood and shadows at his will. So agreeing with such a person, that's a voodoo-ish stuff, if you may ask me. That's some kind of a top tier kind of witchcraft, if you could ask me. But if I read or listen to that book and then agree with the certain things that this person does, who control shadows, who control blood, who can make people bow before him, who can make people do things that are not intending to do because he can control blood in that way. He can make them literally his I'm thirsty. Who can make people actually sorry about that. This person can turn people into his own puppet by controlling their blood in their system. He can make them bow. He can make them kneel. He can make them eat things that are not supposed to do. He can make them fight other people against their own will. Agreeing with such a person is not normal. It's unheard of for a person who is Christian. Because I do not claim to be a Christian. I am a genuine Christian. I genuinely believe in the redemptive narrative, in the story of Jesus Christ, his birth, virgin birth, his death on the cross, his burial, his resurrection, and also his ascension to heaven. I believe that genuinely. But also I've read, or currently I am reading My Dragon Princess with Jacob Brown, who was an ordinary student, born of two brilliant scientists and ordinary students, and somehow he swallowed by mistake a dragon core, and then he started cultivating. And now he is developing to be this formidable character, a warlord within the society, but everybody else who knew him as an ordinary human being do not understand the other worlds that he lived to, because this dragon society is actually a secret society within the society. People are aware that in legends there are dragons, but they are not aware that within their society, actually the big names, the big corporations, the big companies that their fathers and their mothers works on, who sponsors even their education, are owned by this dragon. And Jacob actually is in these both worlds, humanity and dragons, but the human side and the humans do not know that he is a dragon. He has transformed into a dragon. And they mention different levels of realms, from earth, first heaven, second heaven, third heaven, fourth heaven, all the way to the ninth heaven. And their heavenly tribulation to actually to be an ultimate superhuman being. There are demons here involved, and the things that they do. Sometimes you would find yourself wishing to actually possess the same abilities and power, but then you also understand that maybe it's forbidden to actually access this kind of power, because you will begin to manipulate this kind of power, and then it will not be good, because humans will actually be subjected under such powers. And if you are not well enough upstairs, you will begin actually to use that against everybody else, because you know that they cannot do nothing. Even if they bring a gun, they cannot shoot you. So such things combined, and the kind of podcast I'm watching, the vlogs and other books and the social media personalities, etc., and how I watch sport. Do I look for when I watch sports? Either could be boxing, rugby, football. I mean football when I say football, not American football, real football, a foot on the ball, all those kind of things makes me antisocial because the way I look at things and my experiences in life revolves on every experience that I've been through with these specific books that I'm reading, from the Bible, from the Ultimate Husband, from the Vampire System, from my Dragon Princess, and the rest of other fictions and legends that I read, and also some classical books that I read, like the Strategies of War. Is it Strategies of War? Can't remember exactly. Maybe, but from this Chinese writer. But there are a lot of books that I'm reading right now, and this is one of the books. Maybe I'm trying to write. I don't know. I do not know. But if it's better, then I'll throw it away. But if I see that I can keep up with the topics that I'm doing, maybe I will continue with that. But those are the things that makes me antisocial. So it is weird. I understand that everyone who's on the internet, that you know from your cell phone, your television, those people are in some way kind of weird, like myself, but we can't help it. If you want to keep your essence of humanity, maybe you need to stay away from cameras and speaking on cameras, because the reception changes all together from the people. So that changes your psyche and how you receive people, and it changes your life ultimately, and you cannot go back from that. So if you are not willing to be in this jail cell and be alone, then you shouldn't do it. I'll see you in the next one. This is the point of experiences. We'll talk about something else next time. Thank you. Peace.